Lou Brydges again. This is May 10th, 2012, and I'm answering questions that we've received from some viewers. And one viewer is apparently really keeping up on things because I had seen this, but I saw this just the night before we got the question from the viewer. It concerns an article by David McLaughlin about what the Attorney Generals Bo Biden and Eric Schneiderman have been finding. It's published by David McLaughlin May 4th, 2012 in Bloomberg News Service. And what they're finding is that these bank loans that were bundled in packages were not correctly transferred into securitization. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. That's what we've been saying for about 2.5 years. But I don't mean to criticize these attorney generals. Eric Schneiderman and Bo Biden are doing outstanding, their staffs are doing outstanding work and should be really commended. They're providing a public service that is exemplary. But they're finding the same things we're finding, that our auditors have been saying for 2.5 years now, is that these mortgage loans were not correctly transferred into the security, which undermines not only the investor's stakes in the mortgages, but also brings into question whether the banks foreclosing have an ownership interest in the mortgage. It gets very complicated here, involves securities law and IRS regulations and New York and Delaware trust law. But to try to simplify it, mortgages are originated, they're transferred through a couple of conduits, and they're placed into a trust. And then the trust issues shares to investors. The investors are where the money is coming from, the mortgages. These investors are private pension funds. Now, these investors are supposed to be protected by insurance policies against a large number of defaults, so they don't lose out. Pension funds have to have absolutely safe and secure investments. But the mortgages are not properly transferred into the trust. They have to be properly transferred into the trust within a 90-day window period of the trust issuance of the security to the investor. And if they're not transferred into that trust properly within that 90-day period, well, then they're not transferred into that trust, because a trust can only do what it is set up to do. A trust is established by a declaration, or in the case of these, a pooling and service agreement. And what this means is, what we've been saying and what we raise in front of the judges that we defend our foreclosure cases in, the plaintiff does not own this mortgage. And that's very important, because you see, when we're dealing with a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo or a Citibank or a JP Morgan or a Deutsche Bank that's just the servicer of the mortgage and not the owner of the mortgage, the servicer makes more money by foreclosing and has no incentive whatsoever to negotiate a fair and reasonable resolution of the case, which, as you all know if you've been following my videos, is restructuring, a reduction of principal balance to reflect the true fair market value of the property. But the true owner of the mortgage, they want to see a restructuring, because that is how they can maximize their recovery. That is the mutually beneficial resolution. We fight the foreclosure actions not because we're going to get your home free and clear of a mortgage. We fight the foreclosure action because the party bringing the foreclosure doesn't own the mortgage. You were fraudulently induced into entering into the mortgage. The value of the property was overstated, and there was a failure to comply with a lot of federal regulations and laws in the origination of the mortgage. We defend the mortgage. We're not saying that that there's no mortgage on this house. We're saying that the mortgage on this house that you signed is unfair, artificially inflated, and was a result of misrepresentations and outright fraud that was committed upon you. The proper resolution in a court of equity, which is where foreclosure actions proceed, chancery courts, which are courts of equity, the appropriate resolution, we argue, is a restructuring of the mortgage. The parties either getting together and agreeing upon this is the fair market value of the property, and the 90% or 80% of that would be this, and this is what the mortgage should be. So that we are going to rip up the old mortgage, rip up the old note, have a new mortgage and a new note that's about 80 to 90% of fair market value. That is in the best interest of the true owner of the mortgage. And the party that's seeking to foreclose is not the true owner of the mortgage, and that is why they do not want to settle the case. So, and if they don't want to settle the case, fine. We got plenty of evidence to show that they don't own the mortgage, and we have plenty of other defenses that we're going to raise until, but the key thing is these attorney generals are finding the same thing. Countrywide and Bank of America may be the biggest offenders, according to this article. The Justice Department said it has formed a group of officials, state and federal officials, to investigate misconduct in the bundling of mortgage loans into securities. Eric Schneiderman, the Attorney General of New York, is the co-chair with officials from the Justice Department and the Securities and Exchange Commission. So you've got Eric Schneiderman, the U.S. Justice Department, yeah, I know, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. You know, these banks recently paid $25 million as just an initial down payment when confronted with the abuses that they've committed in the foreclosure process by Eric Schneiderman and Martha Coakley and Bo Biden and the others. And this is just the start. This is like an onion. Every layer that we peel off, we find more and more. What this means for you, the homeowner, is do not give up your home. You have rights. You can fight the foreclosure. You need a good foreclosure defense attorney. And there's just one word on foreclosure defense attorneys. There's going to be a lot of scam artists out there jumping on the bandwagon. When hiring a foreclosure defense attorney, I've got some videos on what to look for, almost a checklist of what to look for in hiring a foreclosure defense attorney. But you want to make sure that they understand audits, that they're following the works of these attorney generals, that they follow the works of the inspector generals of the FHA, that they know what a forensic audit is, a securitization audit, an appraisal audit, and that they are familiar with the law